I do have my window open, so that's just how it's going to be.
What's the temperature where you are, Ben?
52.
Oh my God, I should have my window. Hold on.
Open your window!
Why does that determine if you open your window?
Yeah, she had to wait to know what it was. In Boston.
I dropped off all the things I love. Like I need a traffic jam to keep in touch. I can't focus on the words unless my hands are busy. I can't give up on the world or I'll leave this city. And it's way too broad what I'm trying to say, but I'll write it down and let it go. And it's hard to know all the words I need to explain my heart in a single note.
Welcome back to Way Too Broad. My phone buzzed right as I said that. I gotta turn it on silent. It's gonna buzz the whole time. It's somebody's birthday in our family.
Aww, happy birthday, Dom.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you already know what this is. I don't think we're getting any new listeners at this point. So welcome back. We've missed you all. We've missed each other. We're three blood-related good friends who like to catch up with each other. And you're probably blood-related too, if you're listening.
Hello. If not, welcome to the blood.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been, God, I have no clue how long. It's been a long time. So
wow.
Many things have happened, many horrors, many happinesses, Thanksgiving, Christmas, some other stuff. Erin, do you want to talk about other stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, as most of you might know, Molly and I are expecting our first child.
Woohoo!
Due in June. Yahoo! Due a day after Chloe's birthday. So, although most babies aren't, only 3% of babies are born on their due date. Or like I accidentally said the other day, are due on their born date, which is the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
Born date.
I mean, yeah, except for that part where you wouldn't say born date, but
it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so happy born date to Dominic as well today.
This is a terrible idea to say this because it's then it's going to take me like a month to edit it and everybody's going to know. Everybody knows Dom.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
It's February 10th.
How dare you? Yeah, but that was very exciting. Announced at various holidays you guys did, and I knew before that.
Yeah,
brag.
Hannah knew. Hannah knew from even before. So yeah. Hannah knew before we did.
Yeah, so true.
Hannah knew before I did. So.
Oh my gosh, that would be weird.
Yeah, Molly texts you and tells you.
Don't tell Erin.
Yeah, don't tell Erin. I don't want her to know yet. We're waiting.
It's a very spring-like day here everywhere, I guess, in February. So we all have our windows open. So if you hear stuff, pretend you didn't hear it.
Cry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
you gotta promise. You gotta promise. If you hear something, don't say something.
That's right. I do want to know what everybody is drinking because I want to tell you what I'm drinking. So Ben, what are you drinking?
Water. Out of a big old water bottle, 32 ounces.
32 ounces of water.
You hear that?
It's not a Stanley.
It's a Contigo.
Ooh.
There's a lot of debate online right now about whether Stanleys have lead in them. Have you guys heard about this?
They do have lead in them. I think the debate is whether it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple of aspects to it.
What's
one of them
Stanley?
is Stanley. It's a type of water bottle with a handle, water jug, water container, but it's got
Cup?
like a little bead of lead in the base of it that's like completely enclosed, and that is known, and that's what they say. But then people are testing the inside of Stanley cups and detecting lead. So
why is
that
there lead in it? Why is there lead in it at all?
Because they use lead welding, and they don't have to. Brands like Hydro Flask, which I have right here, don't use lead in their manufacturing.
Because Stanley says there should not be lead in the drinking area at all unless something is like broken. But there are also people online who are like have tested every single. People have like 20 fucking Stanleys now, and they'll test like all of them, and they detect lead on all of them.
Yeah,
Why
Ben,
do people
it's
have 20 of them?
yes, because
Wow, Ben, I envy you.
because the white women love it, and they even though it's a reusable cup, they have to have
crazy.
every color.
It's so crazy.
Okay.
People have whole like cabinets devoted to just Stanley cups. Like the whole point is that it's reusable. Like what are you fucking people doing?
Yeah. There's like this great video from Target. I guess Target released some like Valentine's Day colors. And there's this great video of like a Target employee took like hiding behind like a shelf and just this herd of women running to buy these cups. Yeah. Molly has one, but only one.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I feel like the concept of like brand loyalty in general to me is weird.
Fine. Well, I think it's fine. Like,
yeah, it's what like if you have a brand you prefer, but I mean the extremes of brand loyalty.
Said at the same time, and it was like opposite. It was like fine, and it was like weird.
I mean the like extreme versions where you're like hardcore into a brand have to have like every one of their products like that.
Yeah,
that's when I don't really get. I get having a preferred brand for something.
I need to see because Ben, you're like a virgin to this. I need to see if I can find the.
I wish you
video
had
of
used
the girl.
different language. Being 100% honest. You're a complete virgin. I need to see if I can get this video of this girl.
Let's see if I can figure out how to educate you, fucking virgin.
Okay, I can only find duets to it, so I'm just gonna tell you about it. The Starbucks collaboration cup, which is the one that one of the ones people freaked out about. It's like bright pink, right? It has a heart on the label, the thing you take off and throw away. But people liked the heart on the label so much. Well, at least one person. I'm not gonna put this on like everybody who bought one, but one person who posted a video, basically a tutorial on how to do this on TikTok. She took the label, laminated it, then she like rolled it up and like heated it to reshape it so it would fit back around the cup, and then like dot glued it back on so that she could walk around with the cup with the label on it.
Wow.
All the time. Like that's how much people love these. And now there's like a whole side industry of like accessories for Stanley cups. Like you can get like a little purse that you attach to your Stanley. Like I'm not joking.
Does Stanley sell all those side accessories?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe they'll start to, but I think a lot
Yeah.
of them are third party.
So basically, it's like people who have these, like a lot of people have these cups. A lot of people have a lot of these cups, and they're all manufactured with a little bit of lead, which again shouldn't be a problem unless you like drop it and it breaks. But I think my understanding is the concern is that like the trace amounts of lead that gathers in like the dust and like from every little thing that only has a little bit just can like be concerning as it accumulates for like little kids crawling around on the floor and stuff like that.
Interesting. I think it's also like, isn't lead one of those things that just kind of like accumulates in your body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expose myself to lead a lot.
Oh.
Wow.
Braggadocious.
I solder with lead at work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's
Yes,
like
that's
that's also fine as long as you wash your hands after. Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
And don't lick
I'm not like like
Even
that's
if you
the
really want to.
that's the whenever I'm safety training people about soldering, I'm like the main thing is don't ingest it, and you'll be fine.
Right. But as you can see, they're cups, and so this is the
Right.
This is
Yeah.
the
I can see how that's an issue.
at this time.
As you can see. Cups.
As you can see, as has been demonstrated, these are cups.
So you're not drinking lead water right now. You're drinking just.
No, this has lead in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have little lead drops. I also put in all my
Oh,
water.
cute.
It's sweet. That's
Yeah.
true. Actually, did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But
That's why little kids like licking lead paint on toys because it's sweet.
Wow. Erin, another thing I don't know is what's Erin drinking?
I'm drinking. I don't think
Great
I'm
segue.
drinking lead. I'm drinking water out of a hydro flask, which is committed to not manufacturing with lead. And also the rest of my coffee. And I kind of wish I had made more before we recorded, but what are you going to do?
Oh my goodness. Speaking of coffee, I, as you guys know, because I've been bragging about it on Slack, have not drank any coffee for the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
Except today I made a latte for
Yes.
recording.
You're going to be fucking through the roof. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I even like frothed the oat milk. I don't know if you can tell.
Hell yeah. No wonder you had to poop. You probably like smelled that and you were like, I gotta go.
I was like, I was actually going to say something, but I didn't want to like tell you before we were recording that I had coffee. I don't know why. I thought it would be a huge reveal, but
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that you hadn't had it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Yeah, no, I haven't. But and it's been mostly normal. I never drank a lot of coffee anyway, but I feel like my dreams have gotten longer and more vivid. And I Googled it, and there's like something about like your brain catching up on REM sleep when you stop like taking stimulants. So I guess that is probably happening to me. But I literally forgot about how quickly coffee makes me poop. And so I'm like sitting here like I took 2 sips before I announced I had to poop. And I was just like, yeah, I should have seen this coming. I just wanted to be hyped up for the podcast. And I
love
forgot.
it.
Nice.
Love it. Congrats. Sorry that this podcast made you fall off your no caffeine wagon, but congrats.
Well, I was still drinking like tea sometimes and stuff. So
okay. Yeah.
I think I'm looking like I'm real quiet again. I think it's the thing that Audacity does where it like auto corrects. Yeah.
I know, mine does that too. It's so annoying, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll just have to fix it.
I'm also happy to edit if you'd like.
Oh, well, I might take you up on that.
Yeah, I have time
it
tomorrow.
might get it out faster.
Yeah, I can totally do that.
Sweet. Hell
Totes.
yeah.
Totes.
Amazing.
Totes
So,
bloody.
I'm trying to think if we have upfront stuff.
Oh my god, I bet we have so many upfronts, but it's just like gets to a point where you know how it's like easier to talk to somebody for longer the more you talk to them, and it's like theoretically the longer you've seen somebody the more you should have to talk about, but then you like don't have anything to talk about. I think that's so interesting, and that's how I feel about upfronts.
I feel like you forget all the stuff that you wanted to talk about.
Right. Or it's like if you're just like caught up with somebody, it's like the little minutia of life is more interesting to like bring up, rather like if you haven't seen somebody in a decade, you're like, oh my god, yesterday I took 2 sips of coffee and I had to poop immediately. You know? It's like the intimacy makes little things more interesting.
Yeah.
That is something that I do miss about doing this weekly, is that like it really made me feel very very caught up with you guys on like the minutia of your lives in a way that you just don't have a reason to be for for much of anything else.
Right.
But,
same.
But I did want to talk about I don't know, like maybe a little update on my current sort of feelings and thoughts about Taylor Swift, because I think I was still very much like loving Taylor Swift the last time that we talked, or like the last time we talked
has
about
that
her.
changed drastically?
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh, and you owe me an explanation about why TikTok hates Taylor Swift now. You gave me a little tease on Marco Polo. You were like, let me know if you want to know why TikTok hates Taylor Swift. And then you never answered me when I was like, oh my god, yes.
You're right.
I feel like Hannah is like your own personal commentary YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes I will specifically tap into her for that, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I heard this thing. What do you know about it? Because I know that she'll know.
Yeah.
You know, she'll be like plugged in about it more than I am.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of talking to my therapist about that yesterday, because she told me that February is a tough month for her. So she only watches Psych the whole month.
Oh, I love that show. Fuck, I watched that show so much when I was younger.
Yeah. And it's like, she's like, it's just, I only watch like things I'm certain are going to be like really gentle to me mentally. Right. And I was like, wow, I don't ever think about that in the stuff that I consume. And maybe I should, because I was in a horrid mood yesterday after listening to like 2 true crime podcasts in a row.
Go figure.
Yeah.
But
Did you know? Wait, hold. Quick side tangent on Psych. Did you know there were like 3 Psych movies, and the most recent one came out like 2 or 3 years ago?
I didn't know that till yesterday, but my
Isn't that
therapist
crazy? I was like, that's remarkable that they're still making products from this.
Yeah.
Is Ben your
franchise.
therapist? Is it he just
My therapist said she didn't watch those because she hadn't seen them before, so she couldn't be sure that they were like gentle enough.
Yeah.
That's not February content for sure.
It's not February content.
is hard. I would say this is probably the first February in like years where I haven't had like pretty significant like mood problems or like sad.
I'm the same but opposite.
Yeah. Okay. So this
Yeah.
is your first go. Yeah. Yeah.
There's 3 Psych movies and a 4th one coming out.
What? They're still coming out?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, she's
I hope
like,
you're
it's
being
not
gentle
perfect.
with yourself.
She's like, it's basically propaganda. The other thing she said that I thought was really
Yeah,
interesting
it absolutely is propaganda, yeah.
way to describe oneself is she said she'll watch like other stuff when she's feeling sturdier. And I feel like that's
that.
a great like
Yeah.
descriptor for how one is feeling.
Yeah. I feel like
Without
in
putting-
February, it's like the feeling of like sitting in a chair and not feeling like you can really get back up. You're like, or like, what's my motivation to get out of this chair? Really?
So real.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're being gentle with yourself
Thank you.
and watching your version of Psych.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's Dropout right now, but the stuff doesn't come out quick enough. God damn it.
Yeah. We're kind of microdosing our way through it. I don't want to.
The new season of
Game Changer. Game Changer.
oh no, that's not out yet, right?
It's coming out
It's on a
soon.
Monday.
Ooh. The new season of Dimension 20 is
So
already
good.
going,
That
and
was
it's really, really
one of,
good.
That was one of
but
my
I'm caught
candidates
up
for an
now.
obsession.
Yeah, but I'm caught up now, and I'm like, what now? You know?
Wait until Wednesday.
So, Taylor Swift, she started to lose me around when she put out the 1989 prologue, and it had stuff about speculating about her dating people, and that's kind of like, and like it started becoming like like open season on Gaylor's again, and I was like annoyed, but like, you know, still willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, I guess. Then I don't remember. I kind of stopped paying attention to her for like between then and like last week, and it felt really good. And whenever people would bring her up, I would be like, I don't care. Like I would talk about it, but I don't care as much as I used to, and that feels good, right? Then the Grammys happened, and it's hard to describe why people were so annoyed with her after the Grammys, because it's just like a bunch of little things and just like kind of the way she conducted herself the entire night. But it was like this weird thing where it was like a spell was broken across like half of her fandom, because
Interesting.
I don't think she acted that different from the way she acts at most award shows. Like she drank, she danced, she like you know, she won. Yeah, like but like people saw it finally as like obnoxious and inauthentic. I think part of it was she overplayed her hand by announcing her next album at the Grammys.
I think so.
I think that was like a big part of it, because that room was like not a bunch of her fans. It was like her colleagues, and she was like winning you know, album of the, well, I don't know if it was when she won album of the year that she announced it, but she won several awards, including album of the year for the 4th time in a row, which is like a record breaking. And Beyonce's there,
For
and
the
she's
4th
never
time
won
in
it.
a row?
Not
Really?
in a row, but for
Oh.
the 4th time, which is record breaking. Beyonce's never won it, and she's there, and like meanwhile she's just like announcing she's got
Whoa,
another album
really?
coming out in
I didn't know
April.
that either. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's
she's
crazy
never
because,
won.
like, did anyone listen to Renaissance? And I think did Taylor
what was
Swift.
the
Harry
what was the
Styles
HBO
won
one?
over
Lemonade? Was that
Renaissance.
Lemonade?
Yeah, Lemonade
That's also really good.
really good. And
Really
I did see that it was like in bad taste. Like people were like in the Gaylord chat like hoping that she wouldn't announce. Like she was dropping hints. People thought she was going to announce Reputation TV, and they were like, "Well, I hope she doesn't do it at the Grammys."
Yeah. A lot of people were like, I don't think she's gonna do it. Like a lot of people thought she would, but there was definitely like a thing of like, I don't think she would, because it's like too big of an event to make
Right.
about herself. But then she did, right? She did, and the whole like speech was very much like she thanked like 2 people, and then she like announced the album. Like it was not even a big deal to her anymore that she was winning a Grammy. And then like she you know, there were a couple of things with like how she was interacting with other people. Like she dragged Lana Del Rey up on stage with her when she won. I think that was Album of the Year that she won.
Oh, really?
And Lana was like also nominated and didn't win. And she like dragged her up with her. And then like, it's not like she gave her time to speak. She just like was standing there trying to look happy instead of sad because she lost. Right. And then,
I don't like Lana Del Rey.
yeah, me neither. But it was still like I felt bad for her. And then when I saw the clips and pictures and stuff, I didn't watch the Grammys. And then she like snubbed Celine Dion. The people, I don't really like.
Really?
I guess she didn't hug her when she got the trophy from her at one point.
Oh.
And there's like a whole thing about like how she apologized and they hugged it out backstage. But like, you know, it's very
do you
PR.
feel like it's just that she's overexposed? I mean, I just feel like she's just like so overexposed at this point with the whole like NFL thing.
I think she's so overexposed that it's like revealing the artifice of her persona, and it's just becoming clearer and clearer that like that this
She's
like
a product.
gee whiz likable like girl, yeah, that she's a product and this is not who she is, or maybe that it's not clear to her, maybe even her, who she is, because she's been a product for so long. You know, like I always think about when people talk about how like choreographed her whole persona is, I always think about that story of why her parents named her Taylor. Do you guys know that? They're both they like come from the world of finance. They named her Taylor so that she would have a better potential business future, like so it would be easier for her to get jobs because you wouldn't be able to tell on a resume whether she was a man or a woman. They were thinking that strategically about her life when she was a newborn.
I mean, I feel mixed about that because I think like you could say that like cynically, and maybe it was meant like in that way, but I think also like that could be also like a thoughtful, like we know how the world is and we want to set you up for success early, you know. I thought she was named after James Taylor. Also, I thought her parents were like huge James Taylor fans.
I think it could be both.
Yeah.
Her first name is actually James. Her name is James Taylor Swift.
It's actually James.
Yeah, true. My favorite musician is James Taylor.
James Taylor. Speaking of which, I did recently watch a Severance rewatch. It was so good.
Oh my god.
You watched the Severance rewatch?
Yeah, I regret the way I said that.
Sorry for immediately calling attention to it.
As soon as that was coming out of my mouth, I think that rivals what I said earlier about like someone in the neighborhood is putting leaves on fire.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened around the time of the Grammys, but not at the Grammys, is that her team served a cease and desist to a guy who was doing like, you know, a while back he did like Elon jets and he was like showing like where Elon Musk was flying on his private jet. Well, he has an account like that for Taylor Swift.
Oh.
And the people were put off by I think it kind of Streisand affected it because like I didn't know this account existed until then, but now but then like people started to realize it existed and they started looking at the flights that he was posting about, and there was this one like really egregious one where she literally flew her private jet 28 miles.
Oh my
It was
God.
like a 13-minute flight.
What?
And so like that whole like biggest airplane polluter in the world thing is like coming back around and like very much impacting, you know, her reputation.
And so
again.
they cease and desisted, and we hated when Elon Musk when he did that. So I feel like yeah.
I think it's still up. He like time shift. He did like do a 24-hour delay on it because people did like raise that as a security concern, and so he changed that. But
That's honestly fair.
yeah,
That is,
I mean,
honestly
it's public
fair, especially,
information.
Like, Swifties are crazy, yo.
Yeah, it is public information, but I do get like, you know, when you're condensing it like that, why that would be a good idea. So
Sure.
it's just like a lot of like, you know, small to medium to large things all piled on each other, largely attributable to like overexposure. I think you're right. Like the rate at which she's putting out new work is insane, and it feels unfair, honestly, like to everybody else. But you know,
I don't mind. I think it's just like you know, she can art to her heart's content. I think it's just, you know,
She can art
just
to her farts content.
exactly, and you know,
And she can fart to her art's content.
And if it's not too stinky, she can open a window.
I also saw this video of
That one's just for us.
Yeah, sorry everybody, that was pre-show content.
I also saw this video of her taking photos with Boy Genius with all of their Grammys that they like won pre-air. Like I guess like that's what was happening, Erin. They do like a bunch of the awards before the show starts, like before it starts airing, because they need time for all the performances, I think. Like all the musical performances.
Oh, okay.
So like Boy Genius won a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't televised. Maybe it was live streamed somewhere. So, but they were like Julian was weeping because like they just announced an indefinite like hiatus again, right? Like this was like a very emotional moment for all of them, especially Julian. And like Taylor's in there like yapping away, like just being kind of irritating. And then everywhere I've seen those photos, she's been cropped out of them, which I just think is really funny. Like everybody is cropping her out of them. I mean, granted, I hear from a lot of Boy Genius fans, but you know, they were just like having this very emotional moment, and she was like not reading the room at all. Yeah. Just a bunch of little stuff.
Yeah.
So I will listen to the new album though.
Yeah, 100%. Don't think for 1 second we won't. Don't you think for 1 second we won't listen to it the moment it comes out?
Yeah. Might stay up till midnight. IDK. Yeah. So, Ben, have you had any important opinion changes you need to
on
tell
Taylor
us about?
Swift?
My opinion on Taylor Swift has stayed rock solid.
Don't really care.
Firmly lack of an opinion.
Yeah.
Hi, Moose is here. Hi, baby.
Moose.
She's been so nice.
I also like to give a shout out to Chloe's new cat, Tofu.
Oh yeah,
shout out
Tofu.
Tofu.
That's such a cute name.
He's a tabby cat, but he's got great markings. I mean,
he looks he
What do you mean, but? Is it bad to be a tabby cat?
I know.
But his markings
He's a tabby cat, but don't worry, he actually looks really cute.
His markings look like a wild cat.
Yeah,
in my
he's got
opinion.
those like big
Cool.
swirly markings.
Yeah, big swirly.
Oh, I love those.
Swirly swirls. Yeah, harass Chloe about sending you pictures.
Oh my god.
Well, I feel like any upfronts I might have might be rolled into my obsessions. I think I'm gonna do a little like a hat tip to a couple things obsession format. So
okay.
I think I'm gonna do the same.
I'm good on that.
All right. Well, then let's get into it.
Let's freaking pop right in. Benjamin Brown. Ben Brownjamin. Ben Brownjamin.
See that?
Nope, barely. Oh, it's climbing.
Just forward him that Marco Polo.
That's me. Okay.
I know. Welcome to me now.
Welcome to you now.
Oh boy, I got so many things I've been enjoying. We mentioned Fantasy High junior year. This is the first season of Fantasy High I've ever been watching like as it comes out, and thoroughly enjoying that. And we have been in the meantime also watching. Well, Kylie's been watching, and I kind of have been coming in and out of watching Crown of Candy, which
I love that.
Is such a good season. The whole like one sentence pitch for the season is like D&D campaign, Game of Thrones style, but like set in Candyland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cute!
It's
so good.
So fucking good.
Yeah,
it's like the most like serious and heart-wrenching season, but then like every main character is made of candy or like the broccoli or fruit, or like they're all sorts of food. It's amazing. And like the warring factions are like different food groups. It's
nice.
So good.
I haven't gotten into Dimension 20 yet. I have Dropout, and we love to watch it, but I haven't. I think that's the one of the only things I haven't explored yet.
I think it's hard.
Great.
It's a little bit hard to get into to know where to start, but like every campaign is pretty self-contained, except for like even the one that we're watching right now, the junior year one. I think you could enjoy that without watching the previous seasons.
I would,
but they're really
probably
good.
Would want to watch it.
I would watch the other two first. Yeah. I will say, as a warning, if you are getting into it, I found sophomore year to be a little bit more of a slog. It's the only Dimension 20 season they ever did live on Twitch. And
maybe I didn't.
So that can make especially the combat episodes drag a little bit, IMO. Because live D&D combat can be slow. But they're always hilarious. It's great.
Great crew.
Great group of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are people who don't do a ton of other Dimension 20 or Dropout stuff rather. Like especially Emily, Axford, and Murph and Brian Murphy. They're real busy with their D&D podcast that I also listen to and really enjoy, which is called Not Another D&D Podcast. Big recommend on that too. Wasn't even planning on throwing that one in, but it's getting a nod as well. Another nod to a really great Switch game I've been playing recently called Cassette Beasts, which is a game heavily inspired by Pokemon, but also very different and very much its own thing, which is really a nice mix for me. It's the whole premise is you're basically like at the beginning of the game mysteriously transported to this like seemingly alternate world, this like island called New World, I think is what it's called. And there are a bunch of monsters there, and for some reason, no one really knows why, you can like record the monster's essence onto a cassette and then listen to that cassette and transform into them.
Wow.
So that's like the means by which you capture, the Pokemon of the game. You don't actually capture the monsters themselves, but you don't
actually like enslave them into life spent in a Pokeball.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, speaking of enslaving Pokemon, fucking Palworld. Not a game I'm giving a nod to, but that's a wild one. Have you seen that, Erin?
Shake of the head to Palworld.
Oh my god. It's Pokemon with guns.
Oh.
But also like Monster Hunter kind of. And apparently a lot of people really like it. I don't.
Yeah,
our Collins in 15 minutes. Our Carl.
What's it called? Palworld?
Palworld.
Like
Palworld.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like
old pal.
somebody like posted a link to it and I watched a preview. Yeah, right. So that's a bad.
Yeah, the
game.
trailer's wild. I mean, I don't think it's great.
People do seem to like it, but I think it's because
people do like it.
From what I've heard, it's because like it's the closest thing to like a unique take on Pokemon in a while. Like it's not a real Pokemon game, but the characters look a ton like they're basically stealing portions of Pokemon designs. Like I watched this video where a guy like quizzed his mother, who doesn't like play any video games, on like which are Pokemon and which aren't, and he gave her like all these different characters from other things like Digimon, and like probably Cassette Beast was in there. And then like once he started showing her the Palworld one, she started getting it wrong for the first time the entire like,
Interesting.
very, very hard to distinguish. But also like every Pokemon game that's come out recently has been like so very similar to every other Pokemon game that people are like excited about something like
I am going to give a hard disagree on that last thing you just said.
Okay.
Because the last two generations, they've pretty drastically changed. I mean, like, it's always kind of the same, but like the last one they did was their first ever open world one, where you can do all the shit in any order you want. Wasn't executed that well, but they've definitely have changed Pokemon pretty substantially. I would argue.
I accept your argument. I'm just telling you what the zeitgeist is. I'm not telling you what I believe.
I mean, I think what it is that people want like I said, they made their first open world game and they didn't do a very good job of it in a lot of ways. Like the side quests were kind of boring. Like there weren't like a lot of ways to like interact with the world. And so then they released this game that is like an open world game where you have like more of like crafting elements and like some of the more traditional stuff you associate with like survival and like open world RPG games. And that's the shit they wanted. Like there's definitely an impression of Game Freak that I don't think is unfair, that they are resting on their laurels a bit, knowing that no matter what they put out, everyone's going to buy it, myself included. And so they like don't necessarily, I mean, like Scarlet and Violet is still to this day, despite multiple patches, like still runs really poorly on the Switch, which is the only console it came out on, so should have been optimized for. Like, so there's definitely some fair criticism there. I don't think Palworld is the solution.
No, it's totally not the solution. It's like it is popular.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's kind of, I mean, part of it's also just like it's funny because it's Pokemon with guns, and so people like memes. But anyway, Cassette Beast is, I think, actually like a great example of taking good things from Pokemon, changing them significantly, still being inspired by it, and making a really cool new game out of it. And it's also got a great story. Like I haven't finished it yet, but I'm like very, very intrigued by everything that's gone on. It's got really good characters. It's just great. Big recommend. I think that's all of my honorable mentions, and now my actual obsession is the new the new album, the only album, the first album from the last dinner party. Have y'all listened to this yet?
I haven't listened to it, and the way that Kylie like posted about it made me feel like I was like, oh, should I know who this is? So what
They've
is
like
their
gotten
history?
Okay, great question. So they're from the UK, and they basically got, from what I can tell, they got very popular from touring around the UK and having amazing live shows.
Okay.
And then like they got picked up by a record label, started putting out singles. Those singles got very popular also. They released videos with them that are really, really, really good. They're
that's
being
what I've
accused
seen,
by some
those
people
videos.
of being industry plants. I don't.
What's
honestly,
it even mean
like,
anymore? You know.
Also, like,
exactly,
who fucking cares? Who
Right.
cares? Like,
If
even
they're
if they
good.
are, it's a band of like 5 women making really good music. So, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Shut the fuck
Right.
up.
Wasn't like it doesn't by that logic isn't like NSYNC and like Backstreet Boys industry plants because they were like assembled by
Yeah.
a record label and also
Yeah.
like
BTS.
yeah, exactly.
Like any
It's
K-pop
exactly what I
group.
was saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So I don't know. People are just weird about women succeeding.
Yeah.
I think we should watch one of their videos together.
Oh, great. Would love that. Yeah.
So you haven't listened to any of their...
Nothing.
Let's watch their most famous song. So the album came out like a week ago, February 2nd. Sorry for dating the podcast again,
Oh,
Hannah.
that's all right. I'm recording this time, so
Erin's recording this time.
I'm editing this time.
You're also recording though, right?
Oh. Not this time.
All right, you ready, folks?
I'm ready.
The song's called Nothing Matters.
Love it.
Reminds me of Amanda Palmer a little bit.
Great. Loved it.
So good.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear me? Did you ever listen to the Dresden Dolls or Amanda Palmer? I mean, no, I think she's like
Not really, no.
a bad person now, but sometimes her singing reminds me of Amanda Palmer. I guess that doesn't mean anything to either.
It doesn't mean anything to me. That's nice.
Unapparated boy.
I like that there's this kind of like 80s vibe that's kind of coming back in modern
Yeah.
music that really was present there. Like Kate Bush almost was what I was feeling
Yeah.
during that.
I think
But-
there's a very similar vibe on I can't pick a favorite song on their album because it's really good. But one of my other favorite songs is called My Lady of Mercy. I said it. That was weird because I said that in the rhythm of the way they sing it in the chorus by accident. My Lady of Mercy is the title of the song if you speak normally. And I think there's also kind of a similar like 80s vibe to that. It's just great. There's no skips on the album. IMO. Excellent.
Nice.
Big fan. Everyone
I'll
should
check it
listen.
out. I've been meaning
It's
to.
Apparently right now the #1 album in the UK.
Oh,
Cool.
So they're like taking off,
Get on the
which
plane.
is great.
They're
I'm
taking
really
off.
Maybe
I'm
they'll-
honestly just like so excited for them.
Maybe we'll have another dinner party.
It's the last one.
Since they're doing so good, I feel like they should have another one.
Yeah, I've also been meaning to check it out, so I will
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, it
Dope.
debuted at #1 on the UK charts.
Wow.
Impressive stuff.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty neat.
Last dinner
Hell
party.
yeah.
Sweet Obsession, Ben.
Thanks.
Love it. We'll
Any
check it
other
out.
shout outs or little nods?
Gosh, I hope I didn't forget nothing. I don't think
You can
so.
always pop back in.
I
You know
can always
what?
Pop right back
You
in.
always
Yeah.
pop right back in.
We're
doing a
doing
loosey goosey app.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go next. Hello. I've got maybe 3 things. I don't think I have any strong obsessions at this time, but I have like 3 things that I'm kind of like mildly obsessed with. The first, freaking bubble tea. Shout out. There's this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, Molly's like running to Home Depot right now, and I was like, "Do you want to get us bubble teas while you're out?" Because she's also been into them. Like every time Chloe comes over, we go get bubble teas. So good. And
Can I tell you
know,
real quick bubble tea
Yeah.
thing? The other day,
Yeah.
on the way home from work, Impulse went and get bubble tea on the way home, and they were like, "Hey,
Spiders in
it's
it.
buy one get one free today."
Oh.
And I was like, "What? Let's fucking go!" So I got 2.
like for yourself.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
I saved one for later. And
I
had it
love that.
later
What flavor
that
did you
night. It was
get?
great. I got Thai milk tea.
Does
Yeah, I
Kylie
always
not
get
like
that
bubble tea?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
What? Okay.
She doesn't like the bubbles, and she also just generally doesn't like cold tea because she's a weirdo.
Okay. I have to sit with this for a second. I was not expecting. I'm not gonna hear that. What I think is fun about this place, there's this place near us called Quickly Tea House. You can look it up. They've got a huge menu, and they've got so many flavors. And what's interesting is that they have by default their milk teas are dairy free. They use like a soy based creamer. And which I'm always wary of. When I was a kid, I used to be like allergic to soy milk, so I'm always like a little wary. And I love like creamy things, and so I'm kind of like biased towards like dairy milk. And so I, for a while, had been getting them you can get them made with whole milk. But then I would like take sips of like Molly's or Chloe's, and I couldn't really tell a difference, which was kind of crazy to me. So lately, I've just been getting them like as is dairy free, and they've been delicious. So I think that's kind of like feels a little bit like alchemy as well, or like a little like, I don't know. I'm really impressed with like how creamy they are, not actually having any dairy in them.
I love their aesthetic. It's cute, and the menu is very cute.
Yeah, menu's huge. Just like I've got maybe like one bad thing, and then if you don't want milk tea, they've got like slushies, and you can get like a lychee slushie with like popping strawberry boba. I mean, it's like so tasty. They've got something for everybody. So
What is this place called?
Quickly Tea House, Durham. And then they've got great hours too. They're open like until 9 p.m. So it's
Beautiful.
like, yeah. So if you're like feeling every day, so if you're like, which is a lot of coffee houses around here, you probably don't have this problem, Ben, but a lot of coffee places around here close at like 3 p.m. Or like, yeah. And so, do you have that problem, Ben? In Boston?
I don't drink coffee, so I don't really know. I think, I mean,
You've
like,
never been to a coffee house before?
Okay.
Grow up.
it just has never come up that I would need to know past the morning.
Well, it's just frustrating, it's like you want to go get something like on a weekend, but it's like the coffee house closes at 3 and you don't think of it. Bubble tea, you just go get it freaking anytime. Like they're open 7 days a week until 9.
Wow,
and so it's just like
on here.
just great. Yeah, and they've got a huge menu. And everything's been really good so far. I love it. And it's the kind that like seals the top, and so you like
Love it.
plunge your straw in. Love it. So shout out. Been really obsessed with that. Been pretty much constantly in the mood for bubble tea.
I fucking love bubble tea, dude.
So fun. It's like a delicious drink and a great snack.
Yeah.
In one cup. Yeah.
I have like 3 different bubble tea shops that I live near, and so I can choose what one has like better tea, one has like homemade boba that's better, and I can just like I can pick and choose. Love it. Love bubble
I love
tea.
that.
Great
Love
drink.
bubble tea.
My Thai place fucking closed though. That's a big life update. My Thai place was a 5-minute walk and had great bubble tea.
No.
Closed. Now it's an Indian place, which is also good, but they don't have
That is
bubble
nice.
tea.
Yeah.
Do they have like mango lassis though?
Probably. I don't think they actually opened yet.
Those are good. Those are really
Those are really good though.
Yeah, I do like mango lassi.
So, and I'm just saying you can get a Thai milk tea at a bubble tea place, but you can't get a mango lassi anywhere.
true.
But
When
That's
God
true.
closes a door, he opens a window. And
That's right.
it's
So
full
true,
of
Kim.
mango lassi.
please report back. That's pretty. Actually, that sounds great for you, honestly.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
have no
I do.
Indian places near us. The closest one is like 45 minutes away, and we've never been there yet. But yeah, we're like, I'm jealous.
We've never been there yet.
We've never been there yet. We want to go.
So that's one obsession. Big shout out, freaking milk tea, so good. The other thing is so ZFG posted a video. We tagged you, Ben. It's a cool randomizer. It's Ocarina of Time randomizer and Majora's Mask randomizer all in one like 9-hour video. And basically, like, it's just, like, those two things combined. Really interesting because it's running on, like, the N64 hardware, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's on an EverDrive because,
Wow.
yeah, it was, like, too big for the VM, I think. So they could only do it on an EverDrive. So the quality is really bad. But I'm watching that video, and I'm like, wow, I don't really recognize, like, anything from Majora's Mask. If you had asked me if I'd play Majora's Mask, I'd be like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was really afraid of it, but I, like, remember playing it. But I realized I don't really think I did anything outside of Clocktown. I think I was like so afraid of the whole like moon crashing into the earth situation that I didn't really play anything or really watch it. So it's like I'm watching this randomizer and I'm realizing like I actually like don't know the story at all, and I don't know this gameplay at all. So I've been playing Majora's Mask on Nintendo Online. And that's been really fun. It feels like a Ocarina of Time mod, is what it feels like.
It basically is.
Yeah, I think
Ian has said that's his favorite one. So if you have questions,
really,
or
it's
whatever.
a lot of people's favorite. It's one of the most unique.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, I'm having a great time with it. I think it's fun. I wish they had kind of kept this mask concept more throughout the other games.
Really fun.
I think that's really, really cool. So, yeah, I'm having fun with that, poking around at it. I'm finding it's hard in some places. I've had to, like, look up some stuff to understand, like, what I needed to do next. But, it's
Have you watched
good.
any Majora's Mask speedruns?
No, I probably will after I play.
Any percent route for that game? Let me look up what the time is.
It's so
'cause
creepy.
It's absolutely absurd how quick this game is because of one major discovery a couple years ago. Any
cool.
percent is 17 minutes. Because they discovered a way to open like the developer debug menu
What?
in the game.
Nice.
So they like do a few things at the beginning, open the developer debug menu, and I think basically just end the game.
That's awesome. I'll
It's
have
absurd.
to watch that.
Yeah, it's great. There are a lot of, I mean, it's got a lot of the same glitches as Ocarina of Time, of course, but it's like, it's a really cool speedrun regardless. And like the no major glitches route is also fast. It's like an hour 13
nice.
is the world record. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, fun game. I think the best concept is cool, and I always love like playing older Zelda games and seeing like the influence that they have on the newer ones. But and then also being like, what the heck? Why don't they just like keep this like turning into a Goron and being able to roll at high speeds is fucking awesome. Why didn't they do this? Why can't I do this in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
So it's been fun. Yeah, right? So it's been fun. And then I guess with the clothing in Breath of the Wild, that gives you different abilities, but it's not nearly as neat. And then what was my last one? Oh no. Definitely had 3. Oh, I just started the Murderbot books by Becky Chambers. And what a freaking delight. Really enjoying
Kylie
those
loves
so
those.
far. Yeah, I just am almost on the first one and really excited to read the rest. So, huge shout out to those. So funny and interesting.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what to say about them that's not really a spoiler, but it's, yeah.
Can you tell me?
Hannah, if you haven't read them, I think they have a lot of the same, like, tone and, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, irreverentness of the first, of, Hollow the Ninth.
Harrow the Ninth.
Like, Harrow in the Ninth.
Gideon, whatever.
Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth.
The
like,
Ninth.
Yeah. I feel like the character of Murderbot reminds me most of Gideon the Ninth, and just that kind of like blasé, kind of like.
It's funny because as you were talking, I was looking up whether Electo's out yet, which is the 4th book.
Oh wow!
I think it is, isn't it? Really?
No, there's not even cover art released.
They were gonna. So it was originally gonna be a trilogy with Electo the Ninth being the 3rd book.
That's right. I
and then
remember
they
Kylie told me
injected
this.
Nona the Ninth in the middle.
I've been listening to a podcast actually about the Gideon, the Lock Tomb series. Mm-hmm. I think it's just called the Lock Tomb podcast. I would really recommend it. It's 2 queer folks, and they are hold on. It's right here. It's called the Lock Tomb podcast. Amy and Mel, and they go through like, you know, batch of chapters by batch of chapters, and they've done like they're in Nona right now, I believe. It started in 2022, and they're like still releasing episodes. Well, the last one's from December, but I think they might have finished Nona. I don't remember how many chapters it is.
Cool.
But it's really fun because I was thinking I would have to reread the books before Nona came out, or before Electro came out, but I think I might just listen to all of this because they're catching things I didn't even catch. I might reread them anyway, but
it might be fun to reread and then listen to the pod.
Yeah, that would also work. Or you could read along with them, you know, because they always list what chapters they're about to talk about. So
Cool. Yeah.
but yeah, a bunch of people have been talking about Murderbot in my vicinity, so I guess I should probably
Same.
check it out.
Yeah, and they're novellas too, so they're just like little book snacks, as
Book
Sarah says, like true little like delicious little book snacks. Like, and I like that too because you like. I'm only on the first one, but like I got into it immediately. It wasn't like, oh, read the first 2 chapters and then you'll slowly get into it. It was like pretty immediate. I was like hooked. So
Okay, that's important for me too.
yes, I know. I know.
Okay, all right.
And do you have a Kindle or do you have a?
No.
Okay. If you do, they're on Kindle Unlimited. So I have like a Kindle Unlimited subscript, and they're on there. So that's nice. And that's all I got.
Hell yeah.
So the first one's called All Systems Red. Is that
Red.
right?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna place a hold on the audiobook. It's only the audiobook's only 3 hours long. So
Yeah, it's just a quick.
They're pretty tiny
song.
little books.
you are.
Little book snack.
Book snack.
It's not a book meal. It's a book snack.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
Hannah.
It's
welcome
like
to you now.
tapas.
I can hear
It's
a
like tapas.
recommendation like 15 times and ignore it, and then when Erin gives it, I'll download it immediately.
You gotta prime the pump. I feel like it's that way, right? Like you
Yeah.
gotta have a lot of people in your vicinity recommend it, and then like somebody just gotta like chip the ice, you know, and let it in.
That's
Yeah.
true.
True. So true, King.
All right, welcome to me now.
Welcome to you now.
Yes, chef.
Okay, I just have one obsession. I mean, there certainly have been other ones over the past few months, but God help me if I remember what any of them are. So most recently, Ian and I have both been really obsessed with watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Which is his like 100th time and my first time. So I want to talk about the experience first, and then like a little bit, and then some things that I like about the series. Someone's car alarm's going off outside. This
I don't hear
happens, by the way. I live in the fucking middle of nowhere.
I was going to say, whose car?
I live in the middle of nowhere. This happens like at least once a day, and I have like 10 fucking neighbors
That's
total.
Bizarre. There were probably outside this window, probably 50 cars in a parking
I know.
lot right next to me. I never hear a car
Is it the
alarm.
same car? It must be the same car.
Yeah, I think it's at least the same house. I think they might have like
Okay.
some sort of car repair situation going on there or something.
Okay. Honestly, that makes sense.
It's done now, for now. Sometimes it happens multiple times, but we'll be fine. So, okay, so so Ian was like, okay, so where did this start?
Deep Space Nine, his 100th time, your first time.
Picard is one of the new Star Trek series. Ian is, for anyone who does not know or remember this, a huge Star Trek aficionado. He's like a Trekkie. His whole family is. He has watched every bit of Star Trek. He has Paramount Plus exclusively for Star Trek, for the new Star Trek shows. And we watched some of them together, and other ones I just am not as interested in. There was a series recently called Picard that followed Picard several decades after Star Trek Next Generation happened, and he had retired and then kind of had to come out of retirement for like whatever things. And I watched the first season, and then I kind of checked out on the second season, which apparently is widely considered to be not that good anyway. And then Ian watched the third season, and he was like, you need to watch this. It's really good. And so we rewatched it together, and it was very good. And there was some stuff, I'm not going to get into specifics for spoiler reasons, but there was some stuff in the third season that referenced back to Deep Space Nine, which then led Ian to realize I hadn't seen that. And he was like, do you want to it's long, it's like 7 seasons. He was like, do you want to watch 1 or 2 episodes every other night or something, so we're not just constantly watching this? And I'm like, why? Why can't we just binge it? And he's like, I don't know. I thought you might not want to get that obsessed.
Was he like, I fall more deeply in love with you every single day after you said that?
He should have been. No, but
Yeah.
but he does, he gets that way where he thinks if it's something he really likes that he needs to make sure to control how much he's talking about it or thinking about it or whatever. And I try to, I don't do that, so I feel it's unfair for me to
Expect that.
Yeah, and also like a lot of the times the things he thinks he talks about all the time he doesn't. So I'm like, it's fine. Like, but so we did that. We binged it. We watched it in like a few weeks. I think it's 7 seasons altogether, and it's just so good. And the other thing I was doing was I was getting high most nights when we watched it, and so that would make me like get all these like deep thoughts and conspiracy theories that I would like make him pause the show to like talk to him about, and like he liked that too because I was invested. Like a lot of times I'll just like end up on my phone, but when I was high and I was watching Deep Space Nine, I had a lot to say and think about. So I absorbed it, I think, better, despite the fact that I was technically like whatever, impaired, right? So
Yeah. You're impaired right now on caffeine.
That's
so.
right. So Deep Space Nine have either of you watched it?
No.
Maybe an episode or two. We watched Voyager a lot when I was a kid. I liked that one.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever seen an episode of Star Trek.
Wow.
Well,
Which
that
is
can't
kinda
be
wild.
true. Because another thing that happened to me when I was...
I think it can.
Well, I don't think so because we have the same mother. And I remembered big chunks of this series just from her watching it. So, I mean, but you were probably
Send
too
him
young.
the picture of that alien dude. I feel like there's an iconic like alien character that I think of when I think of Deep Space Nine. And if he recognizes this person, then...
I mean, I am like aware enough of Star Trek that I might recognize, like I know who Picard is. I know who, I've seen the Star Trek movie with Chris Pine.
If you Google Deep Space Nine, Ben, do you
Here, we have it. Can I
that
do-
comes up?
Can I do a picture in this?
Where?
No.
What do you...
I'm trying to do it in the chat, but it won't let me do a picture.
Okay. It was airing in the 90s, so it's possible that you were around but not forming memories yet, Ben, because were you born in like
you are
97?
7 years older than me.
Yeah.
95.
95?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so Luke was 93. Okay.
Yep.
I think it was
I'm gonna be
airing
30
in like
next
the
year.
late 90s-ish. So you were tiny. Anyway, I remembered the pilot really well. Like I recognized a lot of it. It's like an hour and a half long, and I was like, okay, so I've seen this. And then like it got to like the next few episodes, and I didn't recognize them at all. And then I like had to remember that there wasn't always fucking streaming, because like of course it would air at a time where I may or may not be awake or may not be interested in it, or maybe my mom didn't watch every episode, you know. So, but she definitely watched some of it like while it was airing.
Oh shit! Is there a queer relationship in this show?
Yeah, so I want to talk about that stuff too.
Okay.
Wait, so is someone going to send a picture, or should I look up this alien?
You're gonna have to
know
Google it
which alien
yourself,
you're talking
Ben.
Okay, that's fine. I was about to, and then you were like, "Wait, can't I just send it?"
Hold
and then
on.
no one
I'll
said
do it.
anything.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
no.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do
Will
it.
she? Oh, is Molly gone?
There you go.
I think I
Do you
need to open
recognize
the
any of
door
these
for the
guys?
dog.
No,
Okay. I think this is maybe the one she was talking about. Quark.
do not recognize him.
Okay.
Yeah, Quark. Okay.
Okay. So, well, this is Deep Space Nine. I'm showing a picture. It's a space station. It's not a ship.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is the first, and maybe only Star Trek show that does not take place on a spaceship.
Oh, you know, that actually reminds me. I've also seen, I think, from Mom in the past couple years, watching one of the new Star Trek shows. I was half paying attention to episode while in the room with her. So in that sense, I have seen a Star Trek
Because
episode.
there's like
See?
Tina Taro's in a Star Trek series.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was that one.
Yeah.
Discovery? Is that what
That
that
is Discovery, I think. Yeah. It's
No, wait. I don't think that's
Newer.
what she's watching. I don't fucking remember.
it's a newer one. But
Okay. Continue, Hannah.
yeah, so Deep Space Nine takes place on a space station in the like kind of outskirts of the charted universe. So the Federation, which is like, you know, the organization that every other like show is like at the center of it. Like everybody who wears this uniform and has the little classic Star Trek thing on their shirt is a member of the Federation. What is the other word I'm looking for? My head keeps saying Space Force, but it's not that. But you know, it's not the exploratory.
Federation.
It's
Yeah, okay.
It's the Federation, but then the wing that the people work for is called something else. It's the United Federation of Planets, and then the something, but it doesn't matter. The point is, there's a lot of really great sort of depth to the backstories and the world building for this show, because it's not directly centered on the Federation. Like there are a lot of please Ian, please help me. What is the
She was high when she's watching it, so she doesn't quite remember.
What is the name of the exploratory organization? Can you hear me? He can't hear me.
He's like outside or something.
I don't know where he is. Ian, are you alive?
Is this something you could Google? Wait, since you have Google open.
I was just say, I love that you still have this open.
As a virtual aid.
And you even have Deep Space Nine typed in. Federation. She just Googles better. She had Deep Space Nine entered into the search, and she deleted that and just typed Federation.
Oh my fucking god! It's called Starfleet. I don't know where he is. I'm so mad at him. So,
you just binge watched seven seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Well,
over
it was
2 weeks.
It was a couple weeks ago now. Okay, that we finished it.
Okay.
So Starfleet. That's what this little symbol is for on everybody's like shirts and stuff. So like everybody you see who's in that type of uniform, like this guy, her, him, they're all part of Starfleet. But then you can see many of the main characters are not. This space station is located just sort of off, like just outside of a planet called Bajor, which was previously established in the lore of Star Trek, I think in Next Generation, but it wasn't like a big deal. But there was an occupation where these aliens, they're called the Cardassians, occupied.
The Kardashians?
They're called the Cardassians. But
the Kardashians?
Very close to the Kardashians. Occupied Bajor, and just
you're telling me the Kardashians are a canonic alien race
I could
in
listen
Star
to
Trek?
that all day. Hannah saying Cardassian and Ben saying Kardashian, and none of them acknowledging what the other is trying to do.
So the Kardashians occupied Bajor, and just as the series is starting, the Cardassians have just left Bajor. They've ended their occupation under great pressure from like guerrilla, basically like Bajoran resistance forces, and so they've abandoned the planet basically, but they were incredibly oppressive and murderous while they were there. And so this wonderful person right here, Kira Nerys, who is very obviously a lesbian, but she is not in the show, which is one of the travesties of the show. She was like very important to.
Why is she in this picture?
Why are you touching her nipple with your pointer? Hannah is rubbing this person's breasts with her cursor.
I am not.
Why is she in this picture if she's not in the show?
What?
Did you say she was not in the show?
No, she's not a lesbian in the show.
Oh,
she did say she's not in the show.
Okay,
but it was in the context of lesbianism.
I got it.
She's not a lesbian in the show. She was
that
really...
that was so funny, like, because that was a perfectly appropriate way to hear what Hannah said too. She's very obviously a lesbian, but she's not in the show.
Yeah. Yes,
that's what she said.
Yeah.
She's in the show. Okay, she was a part of the resistance, so she's Bajoran. She was part of the resistance, and now she works for like the new Bajoran government. And the Bajoran government is like very fragile because they're trying to rebuild after this occupation, and the Federation is there to help, but Bajor isn't actually part of the Federation yet. So the Federation has a presence. They're running they're like kind of jointly running this space station with the Bajorans just to help them like get things back up and running, because it like was the Cardassians trashed it before they left. But it's but like, so there's tons of like political stuff going on where like the Federation is not, they don't really have authority, but they, you know, they're kind of acting like maybe they know best, but then the Bajorans are like, this is our fucking like part of space, like, you know. And then also because it's a space station and becomes an important space station for plot reasons that I won't get into, there are lots of different races and interests like coming and going from the ship all the time. So you have great like episodic storylines. They also do eventually get like a little fighter ship that they go out sometimes on missions on. And like you get to really deeply explore the dynamics between all of these characters and a lot of different like races and cultures because they're in one place. Like it's not as much like not that there's not self-contained, like there's lots of self-contained episodes, but you know, it's largely stationary, and that kind of gives it, I think, a lot more opportunity to go into depth on things.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I really, really loved it. I would recommend it to anybody who has ever enjoyed Star Trek. I think it takes some great twists and turns. And as far as the gay stuff, there is a gay storyline, and there are also some things that the characters played as queer, but they were never canonically queer in the show. And I would like to have seen them be a little more canonically queer. There is one character who played himself as bisexual despite never actually having an on-screen relationship with anyone but a female person. And then this guy should have been bisexual, but he technically wasn't. But there's this one episode where, it's not technically spoilers because nobody else can see this, where this guy and this guy are think they're gonna die, and they both tell, they're best friends, and they both tell each other that they love each other more than their like wife and girlfriend. And then they don't die, and that's never really addressed.
Wow.
That's gay, though. That's kind of gay.
So gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you scroll down on this page, that's how I discovered. Yeah. Wow, why do you have two panes? Yeah.
Well,
You keep scrolling. That's how I found out. Maybe we have different search results.
Right there. That's how I found out right there.
Well, I think we have different search results.
okay, but
I feel like we should remove this from the screen so that we stop referring to things that only we are looking at on our podcast.
But the character who does have a gay storyline, it's kind of like they do the usual 90s like covering it with like they're meeting each other. There are two former lovers meeting each other for anew, but the last time that they were together, they were in different bodies, and one of them was a man and one of them was a woman. So that's like
interesting.
Yeah,
It's like a trans storyline.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's how I found out.
We're just like looking at images of the space station over and over again on my screen, and Erin's just going, "That's how I found out." Yeah, it was a really good episode, and definitely like pretty pushing the envelope for the time, in the 90s. But there are definitely like if they ever were to reboot this, there's definitely more potential for much gayer things to happen. And Kira was just giving completely queer energy from the beginning. She's the one who I was rubbing her nipples with my mouse, and she and she had many relationships with men and none of them had any chemistry, and I was like, I know why, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And then she had a best friend who actually is that same person, and they probably should have kissed, but they never did on screen. So,
in general with Star Trek, like, how there's like seasons where it's like a whole different cast, and like Voyager from the original or whatever, and then Deep Space Nine, all that stuff. Could I watch Deep Space Nine in isolation?
Oh yeah.
Is there like an appropriate, like, is there like a agreed upon way to watch them all?
Is there an appropriate way to watch it?
Well, like, how some people have opinions on like, you need to watch it in this order, you need to watch this first, whatever.
No, I really think that they all do a pretty good. I've never watched even Picard, like having watched it with no context from Deep Space Nine, it still was perfectly impactful to me. It's just like, it's one of those things where the more of the lore the more rewarding it can be to watch. But like, they don't like deprive you of context by any means ever, especially if you're starting from the beginning of like a newly named series. Like, you're totally fine. And this one broke so much new ground like I don't even think you need any context really. They start off with like in the pilot episode, Picard is there to do like a handoff. So like there are a couple of characters that come from the Next Generation over to Deep Space Nine, but like you don't have to know anything about them when they get there in order to, because you learn so much about them.
And it almost feels like if you know, it's like fun inside baseball, kind of Marvel movie like.
Except I
wonder.
do find the Marvel movies very frustrating to follow like the order that you're supposed to watch them in, and you know, I feel like they're so like when I like that it's like annoying as hell if you don't know what they're talking about. This Star Trek is not like that. They're
or like
gentle.
The whole theater laughs at something and you're like,
yeah.
What?
They lost me years ago, to be quite honest.
Oh, same.
Yeah, but
I don't remember the last Marvel movie I saw.
Yeah, but Star Trek, it feels very lived in. I think the majority of the time, like it's like they are, aside from like the movies that kind of doing their own thing, like they're the people who make all the Star Trek series, like they care a lot about continuity of like the universe that it's in. So you're basically just like seeing different corners and different times of the same universe, and it feels that way. It feels like you're coming across people that maybe you might know. We also watch Below Decks, which I love, Lower Decks, which is an animated Star Trek series, and they have like a whole episode where they go to Deep Space Nine, and I had plenty of fun watching that episode, even though I'd never seen Deep Space Nine at the time. Like it's just
I really like the premise of that show. I haven't seen it, but I think it's fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Was that someone's
and Tawny
obsession?
Newsom's in it.
Maybe.
Sounds familiar.
I feel like that was
It's happening again. The car alarm is going off again.
Let me head to waytoobroad.com and see if that was a previous
Or waytoobod.com. I'm going to check nameyourselfjame.com.
Below Deck? What was it called?
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Yeah. We talked about that on episode 146. The right answer is mouth.
Yeah. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, and it's also, the aesthetics are pretty fun for Deep Space Nine. It like I said, it came out in the 90s, and that's like, so there's a ton of like bright colors and like flashing lights. Like it's very visually fun. And another way that it's kind of distinct from other Star Trek shows is that the majority of it, like I said, takes place on this space station, but the space station is not a Federation space station originally. It was built by Cardassians, so the aesthetic of the inside of it and the design is like completely different from like most other Star Trek shows.
That's cool.
Yeah. So check it out. I love it. Let me know if you watch it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the description for that episode where we talked about Lower Decks, it says Ben went to Trader Joe's and did not smell lemons because this is a pandemic. This was in August of 2020. And then that did not smell lemons thing links to an Instagram post that has now been deleted. What does anyone remember what that was referring to?
No.
Whose Instagram?
I don't even know. It doesn't even say.
Erin, can you trace the?
I guess maybe this. If I go to this, we'll go to the account. No, I think the account might be gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, maybe there's a fucking the Wayback Machine for this.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let me check. We have to know.
Okay, while you're finding that out, I do want to give one more Deep Space Nine related shout out, which is a YouTube video. I would not recommend watching this before you watch Deep Space Nine, but when you're in the throes of despair afterwards, when you've finished it and you don't know how you're going to move on, you don't have to. You can watch this retrospective video that I guess I'll send you a link, Erin, so you can, or are you going to upload it or just edit the podcast?
It didn't get archived. No one archived it.
Bummer.
Rowan J. Coleman on YouTube, Coleman, he does like tons of like retrospectives on sci-fi shows, and they're all very good. Like he chapters them, which is great, so it's easy to like jump around if you want to, because they are long, but he talks about like, you know, how the show came together, like what about like all the behind the scenes stuff, talks about like how all the actors ended up there, and then also goes through season by season and like summarizes some like key episodes that are like, you know, notable for one reason or another. And it's really, really good. So the one on Deep Space Nine is called Star Trek Deep Space Nine Retrospective / Review, Star Trek Retrospective Part 10. So it's a retrospective on all of Star Trek, but the Deep Space Nine one is part 10. So check that out after you've watched the series, please.
After.
Ben,
do you have an Instagram account?
Nope.
One idea is that it might be a private post. Maybe one of our private posts. Dominic has the same birthday as Laura Dern. Laura Dern's birthday is today, and they're the same age.
I have the same birthday as Bernie Sanders.
That's cool.
And we're the same age.
I have the same birthday as Mia Hamm, and we're the same age.
Wow. I think, actually, isn't everyone the same age as people who were born on the same day as them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not from my Instagram because I clicked it and it's also dead for me.
Nice.
I did put it private, but because I kept
Yeah.
getting followed by random people in the military.
What?
And and if it's mine, you follow me, so you'd be able to see it.
I didn't even remember you had one, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, great obsession, Hannah.
Thank you. I love it. Ben, what's your homework for the people?
Oh, I forgot a thing.
What?
Love on the Spectrum we've been watching also.
Oh, yeah.
And we're
Oh.
enjoying. Have you guys watched that?
Yeah, I haven't seen
No.
the latest season.
It's really good. When I first heard the name of the show, I really didn't want to watch it because I immediately assumed it was a dating show, like a
Same.
reality show for some reason.
Same.
It's not. It's like a documentary series that follows like a few different autistic people throughout the country who are trying to find love, and it's really, really nice.
Cute.
And my homework, so I guess, is watch Love on the Spectrum, play Cassette Beasts, listen to Prelude to Ecstasy, the album by Last Dinner Party, and watch Fantasy High freshman, sophomore, and junior year.
In that order.
Do you guys feel like Dropout subscription is too cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And did you know, I saw an interview with Sam Reich where he said they've already decided that if they do raise the price in the future for people who are currently subscribed, their price is going to be locked in for as long as they stay subscribed.
But I feel like I would pay more for it. I just like don't understand how they can make that quality content at the price that they're charging people. Like, how is this sustainable?
They're doing great.
Are they?
So
Good.
I don't know. Yeah, they like at the end of the year they did like a profit sharing thing with all of their staff because they had like more profits than they expected for 2023.
Nice.
That's
They're
great then.
They're great. They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I just
Love
think they're
them.
like simply the best streaming service right now.
Yeah, I agree. And just like really nice people. So
Yeah.
so good. So good.
Can I do this?
So go
Oh.
subscribe to Dropout, you flips.
Yeah. Yeah, my turn. Go get some bubble tea. Yeah, have a great time drinking bubble tea is my homework. My homework is also play Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. If you haven't before, you can play that if you have a Nintendo Online account. So that's nice. Wow, look at that. They're changing their backgrounds. Now, Hannah's background, kind of unsettlingly, in my opinion, is a picture of Ben. Looking lovingly at Kylie.
I know. I'm covering Kylie. It's not on purpose.
Yeah. And the way that her head is, it makes it look like Ben is staring lovingly at her. And that's just, I don't like it. My third piece of homework is to check out All Systems Red by Martha Wells, the Murderbot series. Thank you. Martha Wells? Becky Chambers. Martha Wells. I said that wrong the first time. Becky
Who's
Chambers
Martha
were
Wells?
the Wayfarer series, which is also good. But Martha Wells wrote Murderbot.
This is my knee.
Apologize for that. Now Hannah's a picture of her hairy knee.
With a pen.
With a pen. Apologies, you're so right. There's also a pen.
Here's one without the pen.
Was the pen for scale?
Yes.
That's so good. Okay, Hannah, what's your homework?
Take a picture of your
Oy.
knee with a pen.
Or and without.
And without, so you have both of them. Watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and see all the good pictures I have of my cats. It's long ways, so they get cut off. It's very sad. Yeah, and I'm not gonna do all the stuff. I don't have any social media I really use anymore. I do use TikTok sometimes, Hannah and her cats. If you want to see my cats,
Wow.
they're on there. Oh, she's winking as it's a little bunny. Oh my God. Can I do that? All right. So,
It's not picking up my hands,
no.
which is unfortunate.
All right. Well, wow, Ben, these are all so low res because they old.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that's it. So thanks for listening. Happy birthday, Dominic.
Happy birthday, Laura Dern.
Happy birthday, Laura Dern.
Okay, well, that's it. The podcast candle is nowhere to be seen, actually. I don't know where a candle is, but
Yeah, we need a candle.
it's extinguished. Bye.
Bye.
Trying to find time to shine a little vice and a little in the bottom of the down. Slow down, little bit in the vice. Ding down, little in the bottom. Hey! Touch sound, little in the bottom of the night of the fire, nine, little in the bottom of the night. Touch sound, little in the bottom of the bottom of the night of the fire, Dixie. No, it's way too hard. I'm trying to